game up, but as we see, the game would go on to double overtime, and no victor was named in that one.
Yeah, but RMU women's soccer has had a good start to their season as well, winning almost 4 in a row. But another team that started their season in Central Michigan was the football team, as we'll take a look at their game against Central Michigan, a tough matchup against the MAC team. We'll see how they did in that one. Opening things up, Colonials and Chippewas in Mount Pleasant. First game of the season for RMU, and of course, it was a tough one for them. Lou Nichols untouched into the end zone for the first touchdown, 7-0, and right away, a big score to start things off for Lou Nichols. He walks in, and that's 7-0 Chippewas. Hunter Bukowski gets a little dump-off pass from starting quarterback Jacob Sermon, and he goes in for another touchdown. It's 14-0, and all Chippewas early on. It's 14-0 as we head to the middle part of the first half, and of course, Ja'Cory Sullivan breaks loose. He gets the pass wide open there, rumbling, stumbling Bowman, gets past through a couple of players and gets in for the touchdown, and that is 21-0 as we head to the winding down quarter. And then, of course, one more time, back at quarterback Daniel Richardson with a little heave-ho to Dallas Dixon, who's wide open, a jump a little bit too early into the end zone, 28-0. And that's still the first half, ladies and gentlemen, as look at that. There's a little pop fly right to him, makes the catch. Dixon would finish with a couple of scores on the day as he gets the end zone. We head to the second half. Of course, here's the longest play from scrimmage of the day for the Colonials. Jalen Brown, the freshman on the end around, gets up the middle, goes through, and gets about to midfield and stopped there. So that was the longest rush. It was about 24 yards on the play. The Colonials were just stymied on the offensive portion of the game, but so we had to one, icing on the cake here, 35-0 already. Khalil Pimpleton finds the pass, runs all the way up the middle, gets in and finds the end zone once again and make it 42-0. And the Colonials would fall in this one by a score of 45-0. But, a solid defensive effort from Jamar Shagog on the defensive standpoint. We'll have him in the studio later, but I'm here. Michael Deemer is going to break down the Army football team's first game. Michael, first off, what is your first takeaway or a main takeaway from this game?
Well, obviously, it's been an FBS versus an FCS opponent is a very tough task for an FCS team to even knock off one, let alone losing their running back Elijah Jackson. And it's just very hard to knock off the FBS team. And, yeah.
Yeah, like you said, it's behind the 8 ball going in, missing a lot of their players. They were without their tight ends as well. They had some linemen playing tight ends in this game, of course. But, how do they bounce back? They have a game against Howard next week. It's a Joe Walton Memorial game. It's a team that's coming off of a similar blowout loss to Maryland, 62-0. How do they bounce back in this one?
Well, it's their very first home game in 2 years, so the crowd will be very excited to come back to Joe Walton Stadium. And Howard is a very significantly weaker team than Central Michigan. And yeah, I can see the Colonials actually coming back and winning this one to even to go 500.
Yeah, it'll be a fun sight for the fans to see. Finally see the team back in action. Of course, we'll take a look at the defensive side of the game because the offensive was sort of a wash in that one. We'll take a look. Tonight we have 2 defensive players in the studio. Of course, one of them, Jamar Shagog, 18 tackles in that one. We also have Anel Bizzacco in with us. So is that a sign of things to come for this defense? A sign for them to put it together for the remainder of the year, and you think they're going to be fine for the remainder of the year?
Yeah, absolutely. They were down 45-0, and having that sort of statistics, I don't see anything but up from here on next Saturday against Howard.
Yeah, really, only the way to go up in that one, or only way to go is up in that one. Michael, thank you so much for joining me today. When we come back, an interview with 2 football players here on Colonial Sports Center.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a 4th ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now I'm anything but lonely.
We have this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet,
We discover
they're a little bit of a lot of things,
but they're all pure love.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. I'm here with Robert Morris football linebackers Jamar Shagog and Anelu Buzako. Guys, welcome. Thanks for coming on today.
Thank
you for having us.
We're going to start off with you guys got back on the field recently. So how did it feel to be back on the field this weekend against Central Michigan?
Well, it just felt good to just come back and compete, just get on the field and compete, and then play football in the fall. Because with COVID, we only got to play in the spring, and we didn't have a fall season last year. So it just felt good.
It was a good feeling. I mean, it was nice knowing that we're out here to compete for a full season and have a chance to go to the championship and be able to play a full season this year.
Yeah. Have you guys had a lot of prep getting ready for a full season? Do you feel, good to be back to full swing of things?
Yeah, I mean, we feel ready. We practice well for camp. We're just ready to go.
Yeah, I think our preparation for any season is always, full to the max. And even last season, when we only had 3 games, we were always still prepared, still practicing hard all season long. So preparation never changes for us because we are always training for, a full season.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So, Jamar, I know you had 18 tackles and a sack. So walk me through just your mindset during the game, what you think about how that all goes.
I mean, my mindset is always just to give maximum effort each play and just attempt to do my job. So that's what I went out there and did.
Yeah. Do you have any pre-game mindset, anything that really gets you in a good headspace?
No, I usually just listen to music, and then I walk the field before. I started that in high school, so that helps me get ready for the game.
Yeah, how about you? Do you have any good pregame, anything that you typically do?
I normally like to just stay in the locker room. I don't like to go out on the field early. I like it to, kind of get the emotions going when I get out there. I like to, kind of be in the locker room, get my mind ready for the game.
Yeah. So I know we had a tough game this weekend, but what do you guys think you have to do to rebound to whenever you face Howard next Saturday?
Just continue to practice hard. It starts in practice. What you do in practice shows up on Saturday. So if we just practice hard, we'll get the win on Saturday.
Yeah, I think a big thing that we need to focus on this upcoming week and for the rest of the season is our communication, especially on the defensive side. We had opportunities to get off the field on 3rd downs, and we didn't succeed on those, but that was mainly due to poor communication. And so if we could get to better communication on the field throughout the defense, we're all on the same page, then we'll be able to get off the field and have a better game.
Yeah, so speaking of defense, so there's still obviously a long season ahead. So what are your expectations as a whole for your defensive unit?
Defensive unit, our goal is just to lead the team. The defense, we're going to take us as far as we want to go. So if we play well, we're going to end up winning games. Because if they don't score, we can't lose. So.
Yeah, defense, we have to be able to, carry the team. We have to, if the offense puts us in a bad situation or special team puts us in a bad situation, we have to be able to bounce back and play our game and be able to handle adversity and get off the field and be the team that we expect to be.
Yeah, so I know you guys have several long trips this year, so more of a fun question for you guys. What are your go-to snacks for the road?
Go-to snacks? I'm a candy guy, so I like Reese's Cups. So that's my go-to.
My go-to snack, I love hot fries. Those are probably my favorite thing. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah. So to wrap this up, your guys' next game, next Saturday at home, how will it feel to just be back in the home atmosphere? What are your feelings of finally returning back to the stadium?
It's going to feel good to be back home. It's going to be my first game starting at home. So just have the student section there. We're just going to pack the Joe. We're just going to have fun for homecoming.
Yeah, and I'm excited to come back to the home stadium. Obviously, last spring we weren't able to play at home, and I love playing at our home stadium. I love when our fans are there. I love when the student section's there. It's a great atmosphere, and I'm very excited to come back and play another game there.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing it. Thank you guys so much for your time, and good luck this season. Coming up after the break, we'll be sending it over to the Hardwood to meet a new Colonials men's basketball player. So stay with us here on Colonial Sports Center.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses.
You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. Yeah. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again. But an awkward silence can be a great thing, like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. It has been a long offseason for the men's basketball team and head coach Andy Toole. Toole and his staff worked hard to bring in some transfers after they only have 3 returning players from last year's roster. One of those players coming into the program is Farron Flavors, coming out of Oklahoma State, as they were in NCAA tournament last year. Our own Tyler Gallo and basketball analyst Ethan Morrison sat down with Flavors. Let's take a look.
You know, like I said, man, just the relationship with Coach Toole, you know, I feel like he's just a real genuine guy. You know, he's one of those people that, you know, I feel like I can call, you know, like whether it's basketball or, you know, not basketball related, like I feel like I can honestly pick up the phone and, you know, talk to him and he's going to actually genuinely care, you know what I mean, about what I have to say and, you know, what's going on with my personal life or, you know, different things like that, you know, so that's probably the biggest thing. And then just the play style, you know, how we play here. You know, real spaced out, you know, he lets guys play, you know, but he's real intense, you know, he's not a guy, you know, not a coach that's just going to sit there and, you know, not say anything, you know what I mean? Like if he doesn't like something, he's going to let you know about it and you probably not going to like that. He's going to let you know about it, you know, but, you know, I mean, and that's the same thing, you know, really with all the coaches, you know, he makes sure that all the coaches, you know, have a voice, you know, all the assistant coaches can, you know, get on you and, you know, you better listen, you know, or else, you know, it's consequences for that. But, you know, just the coaching staff, you know, on top of Toole, you know, the assistant coaches, Coach Mike, I built a really good relationship with Coach Mike too. You know, just being able to talk to him and, you know, his past experience of playing, you know, in the NBA and professionally overseas for so many years. You know, he's kind of, you know, really helped me and, you know, we've been, you know, in the gym a lot, you know, and, you know, showing me different things and, you know, teach me, you know, what to expect, you know, moving forward, you know, after this year, you know. So I say really, you know, the biggest thing I felt here was just the relationships that I was able to build, you know, in such a short amount of time. You know, at some of the other schools that I was talking to, you know, I was able to build relationships with them too, but, you know, when you know, like you guys said before, you know, I've been, you know, a couple of different places and stuff, so I can kind of, you know, see through things a little faster than I was able to before, you know, so, you know, I felt, you know, just a real genuineness about, you know, all the coaches here. Oh, man, Kay's a good dude, man. I still talk to him, you know, today. You know, he's going to really, I mean, you know, I could say he's going to surprise a lot of people, but, I mean, you know, when you're a number 1 pick, you know, it's kind of like how much of a surprise should it be, you know what I mean? But, you know, there's still a lot of doubters out there, you know, surrounding him. And, you know, I just feel I'm just, you know, excited for him to, you know, have a great year. A lot of people don't know just how competitive he is. I say really that's one of his biggest qualities that he has is, you know, just his competitiveness. Like, you know, he doesn't care about, you know, if he has to score 30 or score 10. Like, he's just trying to win, you know what I mean? And, you know, a couple times last year, you know, that's kind of when it was really obvious, you know, because he was dealing with COVID and stuff like that. So he had missed a few games back in January and February, but, you know, he just really, like, was still present, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, you know, oh, he's not playing, you know, so he's going to be quiet. Like, you know, you still heard him all game, every practice, you know, just same way that you would hear him, outside of that, So I think, man, I mean, yeah, he's gonna have a great year. My pick for rookie of the year for sure. I mean, but like the experience of the basketball side of it was, I mean, unforgettable. Because you're playing in different gyms. Like we played at Butler's gym. Being such a historic gym. It was crazy. Even practicing there one time before the game. Kind of just the experience of really just everything, being, getting all your, memorabilia, your name tags, different things like that I'm going to keep forever, let, kids see it one day, grandkids, whatever, but that's stuff that, a lot of people that play basketball just wish that they could even experience, you know what I mean? So, to say that I played in it, I've scored a basket, different things like that is, although it wasn't, I didn't play as much as I wanted to, it was an experience that, I'll still cherish, forever.
As Flavors and the men's basketball team continue to prepare for their season, their new schedule was released today for the upcoming year.
That's right, Nate.
Tyler, what's your game to watch you're looking forward to in the schedule?
Well, it's got to be round 3 of the Kentucky matchup, Coach Cal and Andy Toole. Not many people know they actually lost the year after they won by like 40 points. But that's a game that's going to be really exciting. It's going to be a good test for this team as they play for one of the best teams in college basketball. Yeah, they had a tough year last year, but this year they're looking to bounce back, and it's a team that's hungry for some wins. So we'll see how the new players gel. It's their second game of the season, especially a quick turnaround right after Central Florida. What are you looking at, though?
Yeah, that's going to be a tall task for the Colonials heading to Kentucky. But my game to watch that I'm looking forward to has to be St. Francis. They're going to renew that rivalry that we saw in the NEC Champ game in 2019. So that's going to be a tough matchup heading to Loretto, PA. So that's my game to look forward to.
That's right. Well, men's basketball should have an interesting season, but one team that's very hot on campus is women's soccer. When we come back, get out your plates because we've grilled up a full slate of action here on Colonial Sports Center.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
So recently on Colonial Sports Center, we've had a tough time pronouncing names. Everybody just can't seem to get the flair for the names that we have here.
Supiani Melee.
Great.
Okay.
Number 2.
Neka Azebo.
Number 3.
Trinity Papamanjaris.
Okay, everybody together now. Santeri Hartikainen. Okay, let's get the easy ones out of the way. Number 1.
Rion Smythe?
Okay, Ryan Smith, you're close, okay.
Okay.
Number 2.
Luck Lynch.
Yeah, not quite, a little closer. Bring it to me.
Pete Matthews.
Pete Matthews. But hey, you're right there. Keep practicing. You're right there. All right, everybody. Last one together. You ready?
Coel Chasse.
It's Cole Chase. I think we should just, probably just find some new people. These guys.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. Now we'll head back to the hardwood, but a different kind of game on the hardwood, and that is volleyball. They're heading in action at the Mountaineer Invitational, and of course, that's where they are right now, but the George Mason invite was last week. Take a look and see how they performed during that and when they were in Virginia. See the first game against Coppin State, a team that they've had some success against. We'll get on that in a little bit. 3-2, a pretty good match. All close games. Pretty much all close games. Look how close those scores were. A good match. And Andy Monaco, by the way, had a career day. 19.5 points, 17 kills. I mean, she was just impressive.
Yeah, and as the Colonials looked to continue that winning streak in that game, they took on the Morgan State Bears, and they would win 3-1 in this one, taking the first 2 sets, dropping the third one in a close contest, 25-23. But coming up in the end with a 25-21 win to close out the match. Annie Monaco, 15 kills, 20.5 points in that one. Abby Ryan, 10 kills, 15 digs. Abby Ryan continuing to be impressive in this early season.
Yeah, she's really had a strong one. And by the way, they've improved all time, 17-3 against Coppin State and Morgan State in games against them. But the last one did not go the Colonials' way. We'll take a look and see how they performed against the Red Foxes of Marist. And man, was that a tough one. 27-25, 25-18, 15-8. A team that they just couldn't knock off, couldn't handle. Again, 20 points, 6 aces from Emma Granger. I mean, 6 aces is nothing to sneeze at. But Madeline Wallmans with 25 points and McKinley Fox, 51 assists. Half-century mark on that one as the Marist Red Foxes went on to defeat the Colonials in the last game of the George Mason Invitational.
While volleyball continues their road trip, the men's soccer team was back in action at the North Athletic Complex as they took on 5-1 Xavier, a Big East foe. Let's see how that game fared for the Colonials. As you can see, the Musketeers came out on top 1-0, and that goal for Xavier came in the 87th minute of that matchup. Justice Koppinen scored that one past Frederick Petrelli, and the Colonials continued to fight throughout the game. It was a close contest throughout, but they just could not come out on top. Xavier improved to 6-1, and their only loss on the year was to number 1 Indiana, 1-0. So Xavier, a tall task for the Colonials, but the Colonials couldn't get it done.
It was a close game there, and they played another close game recently as they started their Horizon League slate against the defending Horizon League regular season champion, Northern Kentucky. Let's see how the Colonials did in the heights of Highland Heights. And they defeated the Norse by a score of 1-0. Brian Akongo with his first collegiate goal in that game as they knocked off the Norse by a score of just 1-0. Daniel Birmingham had 3 saves, but it was not enough as Mike Zornacek outsaved him in that one with 6, doubled that output, and took the win in that one as the Colonials start off the Horizon League slate 1-0.
And while the men's soccer team started their Horizon League slate, the women's soccer team finished their non-conference slate against the Hampton Lady Pirates. Let's see how they fared in that one. The Colonials would win this matchup 2-1, and like I said in the last non-conference game, as they headed to Hampton, Cassidy Fisher scored her first NCAA goal of her career at the 20-minute mark, starting that game off. Kayla Velosa Lima scoring 2 goals for the Colonials in this one, and Haley Finale 3 assists as she continues to be hot for RMU.
Yeah, and they also defeated a team from my neck of the woods in Delaware State by a score of 2-1 down in Dover. But when we come back, we've got a lot more, including what games we're going to be looking at coming up on Colonial Sports Center.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Is going to pass it off to that's 21. That's Adamo and.
Hey, be good. Keep your head up. Let's get this.
So take a look at this goal here. Nick Berkusik sneaks it over the shoulder of Logan Drackett to win it in overtime, and the Colonials snap the losing streak, and they'll head on to Holy Cross with a victory. Back here on Colonial Sports Center, we're going to take a look at some of the upcoming games on campus. Take a look out for a charred pitch because women's soccer is on fire. They've got a couple of games coming up. They're going to take on Milwaukee at 1 o'clock on Sunday. And, of course, you got the Mountaineer Invitational still going on for volleyball. And then men's soccer has a lot of games coming up as well. Saturday they play Milwaukee, and that's the defending champions of the Horizon League. And then they'll be at former conference Rose St. Francis. Then what else have we got, Nate?
And at the end there, you see women's soccer taking on Purdue Fort Wayne on Saturday at 2 p.m. And still a full slate of games still ahead for the Colonials as men's and women's soccer continue to look to add to their winning streaks for them.
Yeah, so we're going to take a look at some of the games we're going to be looking at. Nate, I want to go to yours first. So who are you looking at on campus right now?
Well, we're going to head back down to the Mountaineer Invitational, as we mentioned earlier. We're going to go to the AM tomorrow. RMU takes on Penn State volleyball down at the Coliseum in Morgantown, West Virginia, as the Nittany Lions and the Colonials face off. My players to watch for the Nittany Lions, I have to go with Caitlin Horde, and for the Colonials, Emma Granger. Both stand 6'4" and are both middle blockers. That is going to be an epic matchup with Granger 115 points so far this season. Horde 91.5. Both incredible blocking and with their kills. Emma Granger 2.12 kills per set, and Horde 1.85 blocks per set. How about you, Tyler?
Yeah, Penn State, a pretty strong team to go with, but I'm going to be taking it back to the pitch. I mean, we'll be talking ad nauseum about these guys, and I'm going to go with men's soccer as they take on defending Horizon League champions Milwaukee on Friday, September 18th. They'll be here at the NAC, so stay tuned for that game. Logan Farrington, he's got a goal and 2 assists on the season for Milwaukee as they start to schlep towards their season opener. And, of course, Gal Ben Dayan, 5 games played, a goal and 4 shots. He's been pretty impressive to me. He hasn't maybe put on the score output, but he's also found a way to be involved in the offense most games. And as we saw, he scored a goal on a penalty kick against Duquesne, hoping to bring that same goal-scoring touch that he brings out of Israel in this game against the Panthers.
Yeah, and as you said, Gal Ben Dayan, he's a guy to watch for on that men's soccer team. When we went to Duquesne, he was noticeable. When I was at the game against Xavier yesterday, he was noticeable. He's a guy that can get upfield. He can attack the net. He can provide a lot of offense for the Colonials going forward.
Right, and Jason O'Keefe said, I was hoping to get guys that are coming out of winning programs, and that's exactly what he's done, playing in one of the top leagues in Israel. He comes out here, but they got other guys on the team, other freshmen that could be strong contributors. We saw Frederick Petrelli get a couple of starts in there in net. We saw Owen Jowett really be strong in that Duquesne game as well. There's a couple of guys on this team that are really standing out as they look to right the wrongs of last season.
And I don't know if you can miss him on the field. Hugo Kadima, just look at his name. He's huge out there. He's so noticeable. He's around the offense all the time, forward for the Colonials. He's going to be one with Dayan that's going to lead this Colonial charge. And if they're going to be strong in the Horizon League, he's the guy to look for.
Yeah, and heading over to the women's side, Haley Finale has just been on fire for this team, really dishing the ball well. Picked up 3 assists in that game against Hampton. She got a couple of goals to go along with it. What are you seeing from this team right now, Nate?
I've seen a lot of youth come out of this team. There's been a lot of young players. Cassidy Fisher scored her first collegiate goal, as I mentioned earlier. Emily Rocco, also a freshman. Those forwards, the team as a group has really strung together. They're 4-4-1 now after the tie at Green Bay, but they're going to be one to watch out for in the Horizon League. A lot of people might have written them off, but watch out for these women's soccer players.
Yeah, and by the way, if they had won today, it would have been their first 4-game winning streak since 2016, which we weren't here for that, obviously, but it's really impressive to see how far this team has come in just a short amount of time. They only won 1 game last year. They've already quadrupled that output this year. And of course, there's a lot of games upcoming this weekend. I know you said a game to watch. Is there any other games you're looking at?
Like I mentioned, that volleyball invitational in Morgantown, looking for the Colonials to continue red hot. Penn State. They also have George Mason in there as well.
Right, which Colonials team? Because they're playing George Washington, the Colonials as well, and RMU is the Colonials. It's going to be the first Colonials matchup since 2019.
Yeah, you better double down on the Colonials. So.
Yeah, the Colonials will win that match. That's for sure.
That's
but yeah, it's going to that Mountaineer Invitational. That's a special place to play when you're at the Coliseum. But thank you for tuning in here on Colonial Sports Center. I'm Tyler Gallo alongside Nate Bryson here, and we will see you next week on CSC.